Brace yourselves. Some corners of our planet are so hostile, so mysterious, so scientifically off limits that even the bravest explorers are warned, don't go there. From toxic fallout zones to eternally dangerous ecosystems, we'll be diving into the forbidden, the places where science draws a hard line. Today, you're going to discover 10 places science says humans should never visit. Lake Natron, Tanzania. At first glance, Lake Natron in northern Tanzania looks breathtaking, shimmering red under the sun. But this alkaline salt lake is one of the most dangerous bodies of water on Earth. Its extreme chemistry is the result of sodium carbonate and other minerals flowing in from surrounding volcanic rock. With surface water temperatures reaching up to 60 degrees Celsius or 140 Fahrenheit and a pH level as high as 10.5, the water is so caustic that it can burn skin and strip flesh. Dead birds and bats can miscalculate their flight and fall into the lake and become calcified, literally preserving in a ghastly stony shell. For humans, even standing too close without proper precautions can be risky due to fumes and chemical burns. Scientists visit carefully to study its microbial life, which thrives in conditions resembling those on other planets. It makes the lake a natural laboratory for astrobiology. But make no mistake, Lake Natron is not somewhere where you would ever want to swim or even dip a toe. The Danakil Depression, Ethiopia. The Danakil Depression in northeastern Ethiopia is often described as the most alien place on Earth. Sitting more than 100 meters below sea level, it combines blistering heat, toxic gas vents, lava lakes, and acidic hot springs. Daytime temperatures frequently climb above 50 degrees Celsius or 122 Fahrenheit, making it one of the hottest places on the planet. Pools of neon green, yellow, and orange look mesmerizing, but are actually filled with sulfuric acid and poisonous gases like chlorine. Earthquakes and volcanic eruptions are common thanks to the depression's location at the junction of three tectonic plates. While scientists study its geology and extreme microbial life, they must wear protective equipment and limit their exposure. For ordinary visitors, the Danakil is essentially uninhabitable. It's stunning, surreal, and otherworldly, but it's also a vivid example of a place where human survival is measured in hours, not days. Heard Island and McDonald Islands. Out of the Southern Ocean between Madagascar and Antarctica lies Heard Island, a place of relentless ice, powerful storms, and volcanoes. One of its volcanoes, Mawson Peak, is active, or at least intermittently so, and the weather's so extreme that even getting there demands weeks at sea through ice-choked waters. Scientists frequent the island for studies of glaciology, volcanology, and biology, but for unprepared humans, the risks are monumental. Hypothermia, storms, isolation, volcanic eruptions, and no infrastructure whatsoever. In addition, because the place is relatively untouched, it serves as a critical natural laboratory to observe climate change, migration of species, and ecosystem responses, so human interference could irreparably alter what scientists are keen to preserve. For all those reasons, Heard Island is not somewhere regular people should ever set foot. Surtsey Island, Iceland. When an underwater volcanic eruption off the southern coast of Iceland began in 1963 and continued to 1967, it formed a brand new island, Surtsey. Scientists have been intensely studying it ever since because it's a rare chance to observe how life colonizes new land, how plants, fungi, insects, birds arrive, how soil forms, etc. Access is tightly controlled, only a few researchers are permitted, and with strict rules. If tourists or casual visitors are allowed, they could introduce foreign organisms like fungi, bacteria, and seeds, disturb nascent ecological succession, and compromise what makes Surtsey scientifically valuable. The island's pristine state offers insights into primary succession, natural colonization dynamics, and the early stages of ecosystem development. So again, this is not one of your add to your wish list travel spots. It's a living experiment, one that must remain as undisturbed as possible. Mount Merapi, Indonesia. Indonesia is home to many volcanoes, but Mount Merapi is in a league of its own. It's one of the most active volcanoes in the world, erupting regularly, often with devastating results. Its very name means mountain of fire. Over the centuries, it's claimed thousands of lives. In fact, in 2010, an eruption forced the evacuation of 400,000 people and killed more than 300. Pyroclastic flows, which are fast-moving avalanches of hot gas and volcanic rock, can race down the slopes at speeds exceeding 100 kilometers per hour. Even when not erupting, Merapi consistently emits toxic gases and tremors. Scientists monitor it closely with seismographs and satellite imaging, but climbing or approaching it is extremely dangerous and strongly discouraged. Tourists sometimes ignore warnings to get photos of its steaming peak, but experts stress that Marapi is not just a mountain, it's a ticking geological time bomb. Uluru Ayers Rock in Australia. Uluru, a massive sandstone monolith in Australia's Northern Territory, has deep cultural and spiritual significance to the indigenous people there. For decades, tourists climbed Uluru even though the climb was disrespectful to local beliefs, dangerous due to heat, loose rock, and remoteness. In October of 2019, the Parks Board officially banned climbing Uluru altogether. Climbers must now stick to permitted paths around its base. Climbing is no longer allowed. Scientists and cultural leaders point out that repeated climbing causes erosion, damages rock surface, and threatens both natural integrity and cultural heritage. Also, the area's extreme heat and isolation have led to many rescues over the years. So in effect, the top portion where climbers used to go is now off limits, a no-go zone. The Lascaux Caves in France. Found in 1940 by 4 teenagers near Montignac in the Dordogne region, the Lascaux Caves house some of the most exquisite and ancient Paleolithic cave art. Paintings of humans, animals, and abstract signs dating from about 15,000 to 17,000 years ago. The caves were opened to the public in 1948, but by 1955 they closed due to damage. The light, moisture, carbon dioxide, and even microbes introduced by humans were causing the pigment to fade, walls to grow mold and algae, and deterioration to accelerate. Today, entry to the original Lascaux Caves is forbidden, save for a handful of researchers under strict conditions. In its place, an exact replica Lascaux II and later Lascaux IV as part of the International Center for Cave Art serves to share the visuals without harming the originals. Scientists are adamant the risk of these 15,000 plus year old works is too great for casual visitation. The Vatican Apostolic Archive. Established in 1612, this archive, formerly called the Vatican Secret Archives, holds the personal papers, administrative documents, correspondence with popes, and records going back centuries, some medieval, some more recent, all heavily guarded. While it's not physically impossible to enter, accredited scholars may request access under strict rules. The general public is totally prohibited. Even scholars must request specific documents, cannot browse freely, and usually are limited to a few files at a time. The importance isn't just secrecy of its own sake. Some documents are fragile, unique, sensitive, such as religious, historical, and political, and mismanagement could risk loss or damage. Researchers emphasize that only highly trained people using appropriate environmental tools should enter. It's a place that scientists, historians, and theologians agree, unless you're qualified and cleared, you should never attempt entry. Oymyakon, Russia. Deep in Siberia lies Oymyakon, often referred to as the coldest inhabited place on Earth. Temperatures there have plummeted to almost minus 68 degrees Celsius or minus 90 degrees Fahrenheit recorded in 1933. Though a small population of locals have adapted to life in the frozen valley, scientists caution outsiders against extended stays. The air is so cold that breathing deeply without protection can damage lungs, and metal can cause instant frostbite if touched with bare hands. Cars must be kept running continuously in the winter or engines will freeze solid. The ground is locked in permafrost, making plumbing nearly impossible, and power outages could be fatal within hours. While scientists study climate extremes and human adaptation there, it's not somewhere anyone should casually attempt to live or visit without serious preparation. It's more than just a curiosity, it's a stark reminder of nature's brutal ability to make survival nearly impossible. The zone of deep-sea hydrothermal vents, the Mariana Trench. Scientists love to talk about places of Earth's extremes, places so inhospitable, so remote, so extreme in pressure, temperature, and darkness that human presence is almost nonsensical. The deepest parts of the ocean, such as the Challenger Deep and the Mariana Trench, fall squarely into that category. Pressures exceed 1,000 atmospheres, temperatures hover around freezing except for hydrothermal vents areas which spew scalding fluids and toxic chemicals. Any human visit demands submersibles capable of withstanding crushing pressure, specialized gear, life support systems, and huge cost. Even then, exposure risk is high. Potential equipment failure, decomposition of materials under high pressure, toxic chemicals, unknown microbes, etc. Scientists continue to study these vents and abyssal plains via unmanned probes and remote sensors precisely because direct human presence is too dangerous and too damaging. So if we were to rank the #1 place scientists say humans should never visit, it's the bottom of the deep ocean, especially the dark, high-pressure zones of Challenger Deep. And that's it. Let me know what you guys thought of this video. Leave a like, be sure to subscribe because you won't want to miss what's next, and I'll see you guys soon.